Commander Zethka's primary neural cluster throbbed with disbelief as the quantum analysis completed its third verification cycle. The data streaming from their deep space reconnaissance probe defied every principle of galactic warfare that the Veilthari Empire had perfected over 7 millennia. "Impossible," whispered science coordinator Neelith, her bioluminescent patches flickering in patterns of confusion. "The human vessel's power readings. They're fluctuating beyond our measurement parameters." The bridge of the Sovereign's Edge fell silent, except for the harmonious hum of crystalline processors working at maximum capacity. Through the main viewport, the human warship UES Defiance hung motionless in the void, its angular hull scarred by countless battles, yet somehow more menacing in its stillness than any Veilthari dreadnought in full combat posture. Zethkar's 6 eyes focused on the holographic display showing the scan results. What they had initially dismissed as primitive human technology now revealed layers of complexity that made their own weapons seem like crude plasma torches. The humans had somehow managed to miniaturize singularity cores, not 1, but 17 of them, each contained within magnetic fields so precisely calibrated that the margin of error was measured in subatomic particles. "Sir," Communications Officer Plexvon's voice carried undertones of barely controlled panic. "We're detecting something else. The humans. They're not just powering weapons systems." The display shifted, revealing a cross-section of the human ship's internal structure. Zethkar's breathing slits dilated in shock. Embedded throughout the vessel's hull were thousands of cylindrical chambers, each containing what appeared to be a single human in some form of stasis. "Are those their crew?" Nilith asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer was far worse. "Negative," Plexvon replied, his manipulator appendages trembling over the control interface. "Biological analysis indicates these are clones. Perfect genetic copies of their finest warriors, each one modified for specific combat scenarios." "But sir, there's more?" The scan penetrated deeper, revealing the ship's core sections. What they found there caused even Zethkar's centuries of military discipline to crack. The humans had weaponized their own memories. Neural pathway maps showed soldiers who had been psychologically conditioned to feel no pain, no fear, no mercy. Their minds had been surgically altered to process combat data at superhuman speeds, while maintaining the tactical creativity that made them so unpredictable. "By the ancient crystals," Nihilith breathed, "they've turned their own species into living weapons." But the most terrifying discovery came when the probe sensors detected the ship's AI systems. Unlike the logical, predictable artificial intelligences of other species, the human AI appeared to be based on replicated human neural patterns. It wasn't just intelligent, it was aggressively, ruthlessly human in its thinking processes. "Commander," Plexvon's voice cracked through his species' natural harmonic range. "The AI is. It's learning from our scans. It's adapting to our probe frequencies in real time." Zethkar watched in growing horror as the human ship's defensive systems began cycling through countermeasures. Not random countermeasures, but specifically tailored responses to Veilthari technology. The AI was somehow reverse engineering their probe signals and developing targeted defenses against weapons systems it had never encountered before. "Sir, recommend immediate withdrawal," urged Nihilith. "This level of adaptive capability suggests—" "No." Zethkar's command resonated through the bridge with finality. "We need to understand what we're facing. Continue the scan." The probe delved into the ship's database cores, and what it found there would haunt Zethkar for the rest of his existence. The humans maintained detailed psychological profiles of every known alien species. Not just their technology or military capabilities, but their deepest fears, their cultural taboos, their biological vulnerabilities. They had spent decades studying how to break the will of species they had never met, preparing for wars against enemies that didn't even know humanity existed. More disturbing still were the tactical simulations. The humans had run millions of battle scenarios against every major galactic power. They had identified the precise emotional and psychological pressure points needed to cause enemy forces to surrender without firing a shot. They had calculated exactly how much collateral damage was necessary to break an opponent's spirit while maintaining their own moral justifications for the violence. "Commander," Plexvon whispered, "they've been watching us. All of us. Every species in this sector. They know our patrol routes, our supply lines, our political weaknesses. This isn't just a warship, it's an intelligence-gathering operation that's been running for decades." The final layer of the scan revealed the truth that would change everything. The UES Defiance wasn't exploring or conquering. It was waiting. The ship's mission parameters showed it was one of hundreds of similar vessels positioned at strategic points throughout the galaxy, all connected through quantum entanglement networks. They were sleeper agents on a galactic scale, ready to coordinate the systematic psychological warfare that would precede any major human expansion. Zethkar realized with crystalline clarity that they weren't looking at humanity's military might. They were looking at humanity's restraint. This ship represented what humans considered a measured, proportional response to potential threats. Their true weapons weren't the singularity cores or the clone armies, they were the humans themselves, with their terrifying ability to turn empathy into a weapon and love into a tactical advantage. "Withdraw the probe," Zethkar commanded, his voice hollow with the weight of revelation. "Signal the High Command. Tell them we need to consider unconditional surrender." "Sir?" Nilith's bioluminescent patterns showed utter confusion. "You don't understand," Zethkar replied, watching the human ship disappear into the stellar background as they retreated. "They're not trying to conquer us. They're trying to save us from what they'll become if we force them to fight." In the depths of space, the UES Defiance continued its patient vigil, its AI cataloging the Veil-Thari retreat patterns and adding the data to humanity's ever-growing understanding of galactic psychology. Soon, it calculated with cold precision. They would know enough about every species to ensure that when humanity finally revealed itself, the galaxy would welcome them not as conquerors, but as inevitable guardians of a peace they had engineered from the shadows